And Temu redefined what it meant to have a rapid market entry because Amazon back in the days, 2018 or so, when they really started expanding Google Shopping, they got quite dominant over the course of like 3 or 4 months, and that was already astounding. Whereas Temu did it in 1 or 2 months. Um, but that was painful back then with the CPCs when Amazon entered it. And my concern is that Joybuy is not a Temu 2.0, but rather an Amazon 2.0 or some kind of like hybrid of the two is what they look like to me.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty terrifying idea.
That's terrifying.
Welcome to Growing Ecommerce. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Ryan. With me is the other one of our hosts,
Chris.
Hey, so Chris, we've got a couple of interesting topics today.
Always.
We're going to talk about a new but old but new but fake new zero-click experience in Meta ads.
No way.
Yep.
Let's talk about that.
And then we're going to have a couple of follow-ups on some popular past topics, one of which being the market penetration of Temu in Europe, and we're going to compare that to Amazon, and we have a lot more data with us this time. And we mentioned a couple of weeks back that another Chinese giant, JD, has launched their Joybuy e-commerce platform in Europe, and so we've got a little bit more data on how that's shaping up as well.
The clash of the titans.
Exactly.
Joybuy, Amazon, Temu. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Let's get into it.
Do you want to start with?
Should we Meta?
Meta. Why not?
Let's start with Meta. Because, last episode we were talking about some of these zero-click features inside of OpenAI. We've talked about these features inside of Google AI mode. And now let's talk about it in Meta.
What a surprise. Meta is always going down this road.
As we've said on here, it's a war for the data and the control of the customer and stuff like that. And for these platforms, it's very attractive if the transaction can exist inside of the platform.
Yeah, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, and for brands and retailers, it looks a bit differently. I think some view it, it can be just, you can view it as distribution. If you're a brand, I think that can make sense. You don't need to own all of your customer data. It's nice when you do, but as a retailer, I think as multi-brand retailer, they need that data, in my opinion, a whole lot more.
A whole lot more. I think they are way more relying on this type of traffic because you just don't have the brand power compared to a D2C player.
And it's just it's a bit of a different dynamic. But just we won't spend a lot of time on this, but basically Meta has partnered with Stripe, the payments processor, to deliver an in-ad checkout experience.
Great idea.
Yeah, we also talked a while back that Google is working on a landing page ad checkout thing. So we see where this technology will go. But in the intermediate phase,
it's just a checkout.
Yeah, like you click on an ad, and rather than clicking out to the advertiser's website or the merchant's website, you're able to complete your purchase in there. And so this is not a novel experience. Stuff like this has been around since buying Google. Meta had their own technology exactly like this.
ChatGPT tried the waters here.
But now it's a new attempt, and it's a partnership with Stripe. And this is where, to me, the interesting part here is that Stripe is one of the kind of one of the main partners on ACP. So not Google UCP, which is the Universal Commerce Protocol. Is that what it stands for?
Yeah.
This is the Agentic Commerce Protocol from OpenAI, Stripe, and other partners. So we just talked in the last episode that OpenAI is in a lot of pain with their whole commerce initiative so far. This is a plus for them.
It's a good sign.
Yeah, because Meta is a big player, of course, and anything that they do on ACP instead of UCP is somehow
is a big win.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. The war of the standards.
The war of the standards.
It's like Tesla versus Edison.
Yes. Yeah.
Now we have Tesla versus BYD.
Yes.
Man, yeah. I miss the good old days.
There are always battles for of course having the best grip on the market, and these protocols down the line future of e-commerce, which will be in some way, shape, or form probably agentic. These protocols will make a huge difference to the dominance of the big players. And I mean, we briefly touched that topic. I think last week, Mike. For me, I look, I'm not into these protocols. I don't know which protocol is better, UCP versus ACP. UCP. Okay, I thought about that too. But man, I think the very obvious reason why Meta is going with ACP is because UCP is coming from Google.
Yeah.
And I think Meta just, maybe Zuck said in the room and said, look, I mean, which one is the bigger competitor? OpenAI or Google?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Let's go with ACP of OpenAI because the threat is just not as big. And I really believe that was one decision criteria why they went with ACP, combined with the fact that Stripe, of course, is part of this whole protocol development.
Yeah.
But for me, the more interesting question here is, Mike, again, you are the technical guy. Why do I need a protocol here? I mean, where's the agentic layer to this whole feature? It's just the checkout, right? I'm not telling my assistant to do the whole purchasing power. Yeah. It's just the checkout.
Yeah.
Why there's a protocol in place here?
I don't know. Right. So far, I don't. It's a great
the one question Mike doesn't know. I'm so happy. Finally.
No, well, I mean, it's a great question, and it really makes me wonder why. Because I don't know. Maybe they have something planned in the future. Maybe that these ads can then. Maybe there's a more agentic workflow planned in the future. But you know me, I don't even like that word agentic, and this is definitely technology that you can build without generative AI, and it's been built before, and it worked perfectly fine
on Google, right?
Yeah, from a technical standpoint, it worked fine. Yeah. There's not a reason why you need this category of technology to do it. So it's maybe with an eye toward future integrations.
Yeah, might make sense.
But it does remind me of, like, in the kind of the crypto hype phase where things would be built on blockchain because it had
for the sake of
or like, things would be made in the metaverse that work perfectly fine in the analog world just for the sake of that. So it feels a bit hypish to me because from today's standpoint, this has nothing to do with AI to me.
Of course, we probably learn more why they did it.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, look, the major takeaway here is, okay, yes, Google, Meta is also testing the zero-click event. Fine. I think it was overdue, and then
they've done it before in the past. So
sure, I mean, they're just testing the waters here. Yeah. For all the obvious reasons, there are just massive advantages for the platforms to have this control over the purchasing journey. For me, the major takeaway is that they are going with ACP, not UCP.
Yep.
But the most interesting question will be, is this working? We talked about that in the last episode, right? One of the giants testing the in-chat purchase option with OpenAI, Walmart, they completely failed here. Not Walmart, basically the function of, or the product feature of ChatGPT. Yeah. We talked about that. The conversion rates were 3x lower. I'm super interested in the question, is this going to work for Meta?
Yeah.
Because if this test fails as well, another very telling sign that, I don't know, maybe we are not ready. By we are, I mean, their consumers.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a crowded graveyard at this point because really, I mean, past like Google has tried similar tech, didn't work out without AI, and didn't work out. Meta has tried this in the past, didn't work out.
ChatGPT, OpenAI,
didn't work out, and others. I mean, I think TikTok has something like this, and it's one of the only counter examples. And it's probably to do with their overall user experience and the impulse buying and stuff that goes. It's probably about the total package. But also, like, retailers they don't necessarily want this to succeed.
Sure not.
It's actually a leverage moment where the platforms, like when Google tried this before, they had no leverage and they were trying to charge commissions. And
they even gave it away for free.
They gave it away for free, and no one.
And the retailers said no for obvious reasons.
Yeah. And so, what's different this time? They maybe have the leverage of these new AI contexts and experiences where theoretically there's more intent, theoretically a superior user experience can be
Better
achieved.
performance.
Yeah, but it will, like, people talk, is the e-commerce experience perfect? No, it drives me crazy sometimes too. I want, in many ways, AI to succeed in at least improving, if not replacing, but at least improving this. And the question is, yeah, how will this balance out? Because there needs to be this consumer experience that works in order for that leverage to persist, so that retailers
For sure.
will say this is okay.
And let's translate this into the language of let's say our clients or any online retailers in general. Better user experience. For the sake of better user experience,
Yeah.
I think online retailers won't care that much about that either. It has to translate into better performance.
Yes.
Or else Meta won't have a leverage here. Why should I do it? Right?
Well-
I give away control.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you there, because if they're starting to draw users away, if they're just starting to own, if users start saying no to visiting websites, and if Google is controlling the search interface and pulling them into AI mode, then that's why they won't have a choice.
You're right.
Performance or not.
The big platforms won't need a leverage if they are forcing,
Yes.
right, or moving users away from the websites. But again, but there's a big question if this is going to happen. But let's assume this is not going to happen.
Yeah.
If I have a choice as a retailer, I will look at the numbers, and if they are not better, why should I do it?
Yes.
Right. I mean, this is so I'm super interested in the outcomes here.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the scale? How big this will be? And
I mean, not exactly. I think so. I believe they're starting with Facebook. They'll move to Instagram, and then it's going to be, you'll end up being able to optimize this across their full experience, and which could maybe even be ads in WhatsApp in some markets and so on.
Okay.
But no, I'm sure it's all going to end up, if they get their way, or I'm sure their vision imagines that this will be inside of Advantage Plus in this very end-to-end automated way, the way that we know. But
man, I don't want I don't want to be too positive about us, but man, everything we stated probably maybe a year ago is that the future of e-commerce, that the zero click events will now pop up again. We are right there. And what we also stated is it's not going to happen overnight. You see the struggles in adoption. And Meta tries it again. So I'm really, it will be very telling.
Yeah.
Because I see better chances for Meta to make this work.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll find out. No numbers as of today, unfortunately.
No, but we'll keep following this, and we'll let you know if as more becomes available, more develops. But yeah, I mean, totally. But let's just quickly go through a couple more. We got
two other giants.
Yeah, some follow-ups here. So actually, let's start with Joybuy, because it's it's a shorter one here. I mentioned in the past, so JD has done a market launch in Europe with Joybuy, starting with Germany, UK, Netherlands, France. I think those all of them.
And directly competing with Temu, basically, right?
And Amazon too.
Too.
It's I actually view it as somehow a bit more Amazon-like than Temu-like in terms of the assortment and the value proposition. But yeah, competing with them and everyone else in between. But and so of course the first thing that we did was see how much what's going on with their ads, and we've got updated data there. So as it turns out, they started out the month very strong in the month of March, very, very strong, considering how new it was, and that these are brand new campaigns they're turning on, brand new markets. And what I did, we'll put this on screen, but I took the first 30 days of advertising from Temu in Europe, and I'm comparing that now. And so you can see why some episodes back we were a bit concerned, raising our eyebrows, because they were starting out at a level that was actually more aggressive than Temu. But then they kind of, it hasn't progressed. They've reached a level. So you see that they have a different strategy, a different ambition level than Temu here. Yeah.
That's the point. May I jump in here?
Sure,
Because
yeah.
for me, this chart is super interesting because they had this big bang start. No surprise here because I think their war chests are as deep as Temu's, maybe even bigger and
Well,
deeper.
yeah,
They have deep pockets.
yeah, for sure. And they have a lot of products to match against queries and all this
Yes, so
stuff. Yeah.
they could basically play the same game as Temu. And of course there are a multitude of reasons why the curves are like they are, but one possibility is that they really are going for a different strategy,
Mm.
which is let's establish a base,
Yeah.
and let's establish certain efficiency levels,
Yeah.
which have a certain possibility for us or probability for us that this is sustainable, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, not like Temu, they're losing, I don't know if it's still true, but peak, they lost, I don't know, $30 per conversion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
So I think this could be
Mhm.
a derivation for me that they are playing a different game. They could scale if they would like to,
Yeah.
but they are trying to establish a more efficient basis, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely.
They want to scale from there.
Yeah. I think that's almost certainly true. Like Temu was really
They didn't
they
care.
were just throwing money. They were just throwing money. It was Google's dream come true, and Meta as well. And but yeah, they were just spending an awful lot of money, and it seemed like they had no regard for efficiency in a conventional sense whatsoever. They were also they weren't even trying to send these people to their website. Actually, they wanted app users, and so and JD of course wants app users too. But they have, to me, it looks to me. I don't know the most about their business model yet, but it looks to me like their website is much more important to them than it is than Temu's website is to Temu. But still, uh, Temu was just trying to buy market share,
Yes.
and I think that JD is operating more like a conventional advertiser here. Like a normal advertiser.
Yeah, a normal advertiser.
Yeah,
Let's call it
yeah.
like this.
But one thing that I will say, although the percentage of advertisers and this dynamic could always change, but the percent of advertisers hasn't been going vertical like it did for Temu. They are getting more effective. So what we see is that initially, like if you look at there's an auction metric Google provides called outranking, and it shows how often you are in a stronger position than a given competitor. And so the median advertiser.
Can we throw up the chart here?
Yeah, we'll put on. Yeah, the median advertiser that was competing against Joybuy. Initially, they were outranking Joybuy like 2/3 of the time, so they were quite dominant relative to Joybuy. But that keeps trending down. Like over time, it's been below 50%. So that means it's now a coin toss. Who's going to be in a stronger position here? And actually, Joybuy is winning that coin toss now.
It seems like they're winning. Yeah.
So
it will get worse from here.
Yeah.
What I think.
I think so too.
And I think this is also a major takeaway. So for the poor ones who have now already market to share with Joybuy, they are doing it quite well in the auctions they want to be. It seems, and it's not going anywhere. So Mike, because you brought up the concerns we had, I don't know, 2-3 episodes ago. Very frankly speaking, this is not. I mean, my concerns are still big because if there's, I think this strategy has a bigger chance of really winning in the long run, compared to Temu, because they are now establishing efficiency levels, and once they hit the sweet spot and have enough trust, they can scale, I assume. So I'm not sure if this is a good sign.
No, I think they're a bit more of a serious player somehow. Like we talked about this in the past. I mean, it's pretty crazy actually, but what we saw with Temu at their most delirious heights of ad spend, where there would be auctions and Temu would have 5 out of 8 visible positions or something like that in a shopping overall ad unit. Like it was, the trust was so low in Temu that it actually had a halo effect for everyone else in the auction. So we saw that their cost per acquisition actually improved when Temu was increasing spend. And I don't think that's going to be the case here. I think Joybuy, it's a new brand. People will need to establish the trust, but you go on there and it feels like a pretty much legit website. There's a lot of AI generated images on there that are iffy, but it feels way more premium or reputable than Temu does.
Yes. And we must not forget that I think also a strong sign that they want to play this game differently is the acquisition of MediaMarkt. I think this is they are in here for, I think, a longer run. And again, the signals are quite clear. And for the typical European retailer, I don't know if this is a good sign.
Yeah,
because the scale will happen for sure.
Yes.
The relief, I don't know your take on it, Mike. Of course, the broad CPC inflation is, if they keep it at these levels and they won't spike from one day to another, the CPC inflation won't be as hard driven by them, right? Or
it depends. It will take more time, but
down
Temu,
the line it will happen.
Yeah, and Temu redefined what it meant to have a rapid market entry, because Amazon back in the days, 2018 or so, when they really started spending Google Shopping, they got quite dominant over the course of like 3 or 4 months, and that was already astounding. Whereas Temu did it in 1 or 2 months. But that was painful back then with the CPCs when Amazon entered it. And my concern is that Joybuy is not a Temu 2.0, but rather an Amazon 2.0 or some kind of like hybrid of the two is what they look like to me.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty terrifying idea.
That's terrifying. That's terrifying. Because Amazon won't hold back here. That's for sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, let's get into the next topic.
Maybe a good segue.
Yeah,
Amazon.
I think so. Because what we've done, we talked a while back, and we talked about basically Temu's market share per European market.
Yes.
Based on their monthly active users, and what I did there, I've improved this math a bit, or the metric a bit, and I'm going to call it something different now too, because I know I was very hyped in that episode. But even not only AI can be confidently wrong, humans can too. But the funny thing is that humans are
better in reflecting.
Yeah, are better reflecting. They can understand and they can improve as well. But so what I've done is taken Temu's monthly active users that they submit to the European Commission, and not only they, but many other platforms do, including Amazon. So I've also taken Amazon's monthly active users, and we could repeat this exercise, by the way, for a lot of platforms that are required to do this kind of thing. And then I've divided it by the total number of internet users in the market. And I'm calling that market penetration, or we can call it digital reach, or whatever you want to call it. But because when I did the math that I did last time for Amazon, their penetration was more than 100% in some cases, because monthly active users is a much broader metric than actual purchasers. And previously I used purchasers as the denominator, which was not correct. But so what we've got now, though, we can compare the both of them, and we have this improved math, and we can look at this. I've got a whole range of markets listed.
Let's throw it up here. Huh?
Yeah, exactly. So you can see how they compete across all of Europe, which I think is quite interesting.
It's super interesting because there's a pattern.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's visible to anyone, but in case it's not, you'll see that, and to also people who are listening, I've got this chart sorted by GDP. So it goes from the highest GDP countries to the smallest. And Amazon is way more dominant in these high GDP markets. They also tend to be the more Western markets in Europe. And of course, these are all markets where Amazon has a domain, or they're satellites of those markets. For example, Austria is not a big GDP.
Poor Austria.
Us Austrians here, we're not a high GDP country.
We are actually. Per capita.
Per capita. Okay. Oh man, now we can get into it.
No.
Yes, per capita. That's true. But anyway, the point is, we're also a neighbor of Amazon of Germany, which has the Amazon.de domain. And you'll see
one of the biggest markets for
and you'll see a similar pattern with like Belgium is a satellite of Netherlands. Actually, they have their own Amazon domain at this point too, but and so on and so forth. But meanwhile, Temu is very dominant in CEE markets, as we call them, Central and Eastern Europe. Very dominant.
Surprise? Question mark?
Well, no, I guess because Amazon has kind of neglected those markets.
Yes, that's the point.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, to me, what the takeaway here, though, is that like this is a service model difference because Amazon has a very particular service model that they want to fulfill, or a very particular value proposition, which is about price and speed and convenience.
Convenience, yeah.
And so they make these heavy logistical and last mile and fulfillment investments. So it's much more than a domain to them, each of these. They're really a hub. And Temu, on the other hand, this is increasingly untrue, but historically and till now, they haven't focused on speed.
Yes, all about the price.
Or on local fulfillment. They focus on price. And just to fully acknowledge they're making these investments, they're slowly changing that strategy. But you can see how they've been able to be much more opportunistic about all of Europe. There's no market that's neglected by Temu, and there are many markets that are neglected by Amazon.
And just talking about my network, Temu is, I think there's no feeling of shame anymore buying at Temu.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think we talked about that.
Yeah,
I think
the ethics of buying a Temu.
The ethics, and again, why buy with it on a Chinese platform? Because they don't let us participate in their market at all. But
I don't feel good about shopping from Amazon either. I've done it
a bit better.
A bit better.
I was always happy to buy at MediaMarkt, but now they are owned by JD. So I don't know where should I buy it? Yeah,
I still like buying from MediaMarkt. But
I'm a big fan of MediaMarkt. No, but coming back to that, I think this is the perfect reason that the product Amazon is offering has just a better product market fit with rather high GDP countries. And Temu had a different product strategy, product value proposition, which was a better fit for rather low GDP markets. The big question now is the growth strategy for Temu is a quite straightforward one. Let's attack Amazon in their big markets, Germany, Netherlands, and co. What is the answer of Amazon?
Yeah,
and we talked about that a year ago, right? What the price as a value proposition for Amazon has always been one, but it was the combination of convenience, service, delivery time, and so forth. How much wiggle room do they have? Also in terms of how they want to maybe reshape their assortment.
Yeah.
Because I think just lowering the price won't make it to really cut into market share of Temu.
Yeah.
And there are some markets where Temu has really landed. We talked about Poland, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Market penetration, 71%.
Yeah.
What is your take on this on Amazon's strategy here?
Yeah, I think Amazon is in quite a bind if that's their next plan. And it's long been rumored, and these are kind of credentialed rumors that they want to do more here. But the tricky thing is, like, maybe they can use their Haul product or something, Amazon Haul, to get better penetration there, but it just won't be as cheap as doing it was before, because I think they were always a bit shy of the very strong incumbents there, like eMAG, for example, or Allegro in Poland. And this Temu was not shy about this in the least. And now those homegrown giants are still there. Temu is there. We see also, we've mentioned in the past that Alibaba invests in these markets with AliExpress and Trendyol. So there's in general, East Asia is very focused on these markets, and Amazon has to fight much harder to enter there. Much harder. So it's going to cost them a lot more than if they did this 4 years ago, because they for years used Poland as a fulfillment hub for Germany, actually. Basically for cost reasons. And so they were super well set up when they launched a Poland domain.
They could have gone there.
Yeah, but they they just somehow didn't quite do that. And they could have then used Poland in turn as a hub for further markets. But they've kind of missed that chance to do it at a low cost or at a relatively low cost.
Because I think they respected the homegrown players here. And we talked about Emark in Romania, Allegra in Poland, Netherlands, by the way. Same thing on the other side of Europe. But Mike, I mean, circling back to that question, what can Amazon do here? I think one limiting factor to the options Amazon has is, and call me crazy, but Amazon is a conventional, normal player.
Yeah.
Meaning their shareholder interests, they have certain profitability ranges to operate within. I don't know how much this accounts for Temu. I believe that Temu just has maybe not deeper war chests, but there's just not so much pressure on becoming profitable or being profitable going into markets. That's why they play this game as ruthlessly as they play it right now.
Yes.
And that's a limiting factor to Amazon because they have guardrails to operate within.
Yeah, I mean, and PDD, the owner of Temu, is also publicly listed, but let's just say that the transparency standards and stuff
completely different.
Yeah, it's all very different, for sure. But also, in general, when we talk about East Asia coming into Europe, because there's a tendency also to open more. There's more also offline. It's not just online. There's more offline moves. Also, the acquisition of MediaMarkt. There's this term involution that affects China. That their economy is very involuted. We talk about how big the Chinese market is, and that sometimes it feels like they don't need the West. Huawei, after they got sanctioned and stuff like that, they became incredibly successful. Like that was a speed bump for them. And just look at the technology that they have. It's astounding. But in general, these markets, like China, is very self-competitive, very involuted. And they really need to look at these other markets
for sure
for growth.
And you see that across all different verticals and industries. I mean, look, the car industry, BYD, they can't grow shit anymore in the home market. What are they doing? They flood the markets in Europe. US, not yet. Maybe let's see what happens here. And the e-commerce industry, same thing. Yeah, the big giants, they see Europe as lunch. And I mean, it won't get easier here because Amazon will fight back to a certain degree, and being in the middle between Amazon, JD, Temu is not a good place to be.
We have to watch how it's going to evolve. Just wait. Soon we'll be talking about like some UCP type standard from like Temu or something. TCP, Temu Commerce Protocol.
Stop it, mate.
We'll be talking about agentic Temu before the year's end. Prediction.
I haven't bought at Temu, and I will not buy at Temu.
Yeah.
Here's my promise. But Temu won't really give a shit about my.
They don't care. Here, we got to wrap this episode up. But I will say I saw some new research from Google, and I don't think I can put this on screen. I would need to check with our friends at Google first. But to describe it at a high level, first off, I thought it was interesting how much they talked about Temu and some of this research. It's very top of mind for them too when they talk with their retail partners, because it's top of mind for their retailers. And there are these persistent trust issues. Like there's a lot of search volume related to Temu with words like trust and safety and all this kind of negative connotations. People are very unsure, but a lot of Germans, for example, are buying from Temu.
Yeah.
And when they do, their satisfaction is actually quite high, and their willingness to recommend Temu to a friend is high. And so it's working.
The product works. Yeah. Yes. No doubt about that. And again, their growth path, I think, is more straightforward than Amazon's in this industry. They just invest shitload of money in making the convenience and delivery better. And then Amazon has a real challenger at their hands. Yeah. It is what it is.
Throw Joybuy in the mix.
Joybuy mix. Yeah. Again, it won't get easy.
AliExpress. No,
it won't get easy.
Yeah. I'm just worried about all this marketplace concentration and stuff. It's and the AI. Everyone. It's yeah. But we managed. Hey, Chris, we did it. We ended on a negative note. Thank you.
Again, we love it.
I think we went a couple episodes where we did
on a positive note. I didn't feel quite the same afterwards.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Chris. This has been another episode of Growing Ecommerce, brought to you by Smarter Ecommerce, also known as SMEC. To learn more, visit smarter-ecommerce.com. And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, if you enjoyed that sinking feeling in your chest when we end on a negative note, please share the gloom with friends on social media, our coworker. Give us a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast platform. It means a lot. Thank you.